Welcome to Everyday Linux User. In today's video I'm going to ask two questions. The first question is, does distro hopping make you a better Linux user? And the second question is distro hopping a pointless activity? Okay, so this isn't going to be a massive long video, it's just going to be me stating my thoughts on distro hopping. Does it make you a better Linux user? And is there any point to it? So to answer the first question, does distro hopping make you a better Linux user? And I'm going to answer this in a roundabout way. So in Scotland we have a lot of hills. I'm looking on this website here because I don't know the exact heights of what becomes a Graham and what becomes a Corbett and what becomes a Monroe. So in Scotland there are 224 Grahams in Scotland, and they range between 2,000 and 2,500 feet. So they're quite small hills, and they're called Grahams. And then after that you've got this thing called a Corbett, but they're between 2,500 feet and less than 3,000 feet. And everything else are called Monroes. And Monroes are over 3,000 feet tall. And in Scotland we have loads of them. 282 to be exact. Now there's a hobby in Scotland, sport maybe, called Monroe bagging, and Monroe baggers spend their weekends, their holidays, spare time going around Scotland and attempting to climb all of the Monroes in Scotland, and the aim is to try and achieve all 282 before you meet your mortal maker or just can't do it anymore. Now, is somebody who climbs all 282 Monroes a better hill walker than someone who climbs one Monroe every weekend? So the person that climbs the same Monroe every weekend, are they a better Monroe walker than the guy that does all 282 of them? Now, my view on this is that the person that does 282 of them will learn a lot more generally about hill walking. They'll know the intricacies of different climbs and different mountains, whereas the guy that uses the same one over and over will only know a percentage of the hill that he's climbing. That doesn't mean that the guy that climbs the same Monroe every weekend is any less of a hill walker than the guy that climbs all 282. Because arguably the guy that does the same Monroe every weekend knows every single route up that hill that he is climbing. He knows intricately how that hill is and the things to look out for and the things not to look out for. Whereas the guy that's doing all 282 is probably taking the most straightforward route to the top and therefore not seeing all the intricacies of all of the mountain that they're climbing. So in Linux terms, somebody who uses the same distribution for all of their life, they probably know more about how that distribution works than the guy that distro hops and tries every single Linux distribution out. Whereas the guy that tries every Linux distribution out understands all the different installers, they know all the different package managers, they know generally, on a general level, they know more about general things than the other guy, but they don't know the intricacies as well as the other guy. So to answer the question, do distro hoppers know more about Linux than other users? The answer is actually no. So if you're one of these people that are there thinking, I've got to try every single Linux distribution out before I can become a good Linux user, that's not true. But if you do try every Linux distribution out, you're going to get a better general knowledge than somebody who doesn't distro hop. But that doesn't make you better, it just means you know more generally about lots of distributions than somebody who knows a lot about one. So that's the first question answered. The second question is distro hopping pointless? So distro hoppers are a lot like Monroe baggers. They don't do it necessarily because they think they're more intelligent. They don't do it because they can't be happy with one distribution. They do it because they like to see what other people have created. You could argue that everything we do in our lives is pointless, because in 100 years' time, no one's going to care. We're all going to be gone. But I've been a software developer since 1995, and it's now 2023, and I'd imagine that most of the code I've written since 1995 no longer exists. The nature of software development, if you look at the GNOME developers, the people who develop GNOME, how much of their code from like the early noughties is still there? It's been replaced. X is being replaced by Wayland. A lot of the code doesn't last forever. But so was it pointless writing it? No, because at the time, all that code I've written for all these companies, it's helped me bring up a family, it's helped me go on holidays, it's helped me buy a house, it's helped me enjoy the life the best I can. And it's arguable that some people's lives are less pointless than others, if you want to argue that way. For instance, somebody who creates a piece of artwork that lasts hundreds of years, people get to enjoy hundreds of years later, so they've got a long-lasting effect. Musicians that create sonatas and symphonies, their music has lasted hundreds of years as well. Doctors that have come up with cures for diseases, penicillin, I mean, that's saved people's lives long after the people that invented it died. Like, so people that invent things, the legacy lives on longer, but ultimately we're all going to die. Therefore, even the people that created those things died. So it's what you do with your life during the time that makes point. It's how you enjoy your life. It's not how other people perceive you enjoy your life. So for me, distro hopping is a hobby. I like to see what people have created. I like to see, oh, they've used that installer. Oh, I like the artwork that they've used there. I like the way they've done this. I like the way they've done that. Oh, I'm not so sure about that. And it's not about whether somebody's great at creating distributions or not great at creating distributions. It's not about whether it's the best one or it's the worst one. It's just about seeing what people have created and enjoying other people's work for what it is. And I don't see that as pointless. It's a hobby. In the same way that some people like going cycling at the weekends, some people like playing golf. It's a hobby. It's how you want to enjoy your time. So do you need to distro hop? No, you don't. For all the people that do distro hop, welcome to the club. I enjoy doing it. You enjoy doing it. I'm going to continue doing it. And that's really all I've got to say on the subject, really. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button. And if you like this background wallpaper and the look of this Linux distribution, I've got a video about that, how it was created. And hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time on Everyday Linux User.